Yeah, somewhat, somewhat. Say Zin plus, uh,
Cigars,
yeah, or even just not even Zin, the
snus,
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 snus, whatever, the pouches, the non-invasive
oral free,
pouches,
or no,
or
oral tobacco or whatever.
yeah, whatever they call it, modern oral. It's always strange to call it modern oral. Um, no one's brain going to the gutter there. All right, here's another topic that as renters we might like, and this could be fun to talk about compared to inflation. I haven't read the article yet, but this is a tweet from, I believe this person is Bill McBride. I recognize the name, but good at this type of stuff. Says rents are falling faster than quote seasonality alone. Since rents are falling and will likely continue to fall, it probably makes sense to look at inflation X shelter for monetary policy over the next several months. If you look at the chart here, rent prices, if we look at, okay, what am I seeing here? So in January 20, from February 2020, they dipped a little bit. And then in starting in early 2021, they went up by a ton. That's peaking at 17% year over year growth. And now it is rolled over, kind of like a classic just asymptote, back to 5% growth and are falling quickly. Thoughts there? Good for rent prices. I think we've kind of seen that the
So there's still,
crazy the
I-
crazy rent hikes in at least our area. Stop.
I'm not looking at this chart that you're talking about, but your rent prices are still growing.
Let me send it in the Zoom chat. But no, they're still growing, but it's going to start if the trend continues, they're going to start declining within the next few months. So it's
I did
declining quick.
not know they were still growing. That is a bummer.
Yeah, but some of that's
How
some
correlated are rent prices to the housing market?
I believe fairly correlated, but also not an expert. Here's another one that's interesting. So if you look at housing services on the, I believe that is for personal consumption expenditures under, I think it's the Fed's definition. It's still
Yeah,
showing since it's on a trailing basis. I sent the chat, so maybe you can look at it now.
seen it.
Um, yeah, so that uh is growing, still shows it's growing, but all the forward-looking indicators, apartment lists, Zillow, have rolled over. And it seems like that since it's a big driver of inflation, you can kind of see how that might decline, um, or lead to inflation to drop in early 2023.
Yeah. Deep. Yeah, but I also think consumer spending drops if inflation drops.
Mm, isn't that tied at the hip?
Well, I'm saying uh if you're saying that inflation drops because of shelter costs,
Yeah.
I think it is going to I think the wealth effect will come into play.
Oh, yeah, good point. I
I think
also got some.
a lot of people are going to think they're just poorer because of the I, the worst part about Zillow is it's given everyone a mark to market on their house.
That is
It's given
correct.
them a
Yeah.
daily quote they can check. It's like it makes your house a stock,
Yeah.
which
They're
is
like,
like
my estimate's 900K. Let's take out that loan, you
they
know?
used to treat it like a real asset, and now they treat it like a trading sardine.
Yeah. Well, maybe not a trading sardine,
They don't
but
actually treat it like that, but they it just feels so much more monetizable now, I think, or liquid.
liquid, yeah. And here's what's interesting. So I throw out a thing about how a tweet to try to see if there's anyone that knew more about this stuff than me, about how if mortgage rates stay about where they are, prices are gonna continue to drop for a little more, maybe 15%, something like that. Who knows the exact number. And if that happens, the wealth effect and affordability will impact consumer discretionary spending. And people seem to think like all the defenses really weren't that it wouldn't impact consumer discretionary spending did not, they were not, in my opinion, a full loop. How am I trying to describe this idea? Because some people were talking about how wages would outgrow the affordability crisis for homeowners, right?
Oh,
Or
that's
how,
interesting.
yes, but at first I thought that was interesting. But if wage increases are that high, that means inflation is going to stay high, which means that the Fed is going to raise rates even more, which makes affordability on houses even worse.
I want to say wage growth is exactly parallel to inflation growth.
Uh, uh,
I might be wrong, but
no, you could be right, but the way that everyone in the United States spends money, where there's no savings or even negative savings.
I suppose. What would happen today if Mr. Jerome Powell decided we're going back to 2% 10-year? What do you think would
You mean
actually happen?
not the 10-year, but the Fed funds?
Yeah, but the Fed funds doesn't that dictate the 10-year?
Sort of. The 10-year will be slightly higher.
Yeah,
Um,
Fed funds goes to 2.
well,
Do we party again? Do we throw a major party?
home building stocks would go crazy, but the
How
affordability,
long why not keep rates at 0 forever?
I think,
Aside from hyperinflation causing like the demise of economies.
yeah, I think asset bubbles as well,
But
right?
theoretically, doesn't low rates inspire entrepreneurialism, inspire people to take chances and borrow money
That's what I thought, but now we're in
and
the
build
golden.
and innovate? But the truth is not there's just no innovation that was going on.
It's yeah, we didn't get innovation. We got the golden age of fraud. Okay, here's a good chart. Tweeted from Tobias Carlisle, but from Lance